Colleen, Danielle, thank you very much for getting us connected. We'll call the meeting to order at 1:31. This meeting is on a webcast. We have those available live or archived and are provided for the convenience, for your convenience, and they can be found on our YouTube channel. Before we open the meeting, before we proceed with the meeting, we'll have a land acknowledgement. We begin this gathering by acknowledging that the land upon which we meet is the traditional territory of First Nations people who have a long-standing relationship with the land, water, and regions of Southwest Middlesex. The nations along the banks of the Thames River include Chippewa of the Thames, Oneida Nation of the Thames, Munsee Delaware Nation, and Delaware Nation of Moravian Town. We convey our respect to our Indigenous neighbors and thank them for their contributions to our culture, community, our past, and our partnerships in the future. Council, is there any member declaring a pecuniary interest in the general nature thereof? Seeing none. And before we go any further, we just want to acknowledge that Councillor Choi was unavailable for this meeting, and Councillor McGill is on screen. Mark is just feeling a little under the weather, and he was courteous enough to stay home and join us on screen. The next item is the confirmation of the agenda. There was an item added regarding the Ward 3 Council vacancy. We will make mention of that in the confirmation, and that the regular agenda dated February 5th be approved as amended with that inclusion. Is there a mover and a seconder? Councillor Haggett, Councillor McCollum. Yeah, go ahead there.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wondered at some point if we could get an update on the animal shelter contract, or just where we are at. I don't know if you want to do it now or somewhere else in the agenda.
Okay, we'll maybe get through the opening of the meeting and get rolling, and I think we can do that. I'll make sure that we get that opportunity to bring that forward and for discussion. Delegations and presentations. Council, I have been advised of none. The next is the consent agenda. Council, I'll read through these. If there's any that you'd like to pull out, you included, Mark. You shout out if I missed your hand. And we'll just go through from 5.1 to 5.9. Draft minutes of the regular council meeting of January 15th. 5.2, draft minutes of the Economic Development Committee meeting of January 9th. The voucher reports, December 24th and January 25th.
Mayor?
Yes, go ahead.
Just a small item there. I sent Amanda, I guess, about 5 requests. I just wondered if there's any way we could have a few more details on this. For instance, the easement, I had no idea what the easement was about. Never recognized the name before. And it's a fair amount of money. And I think right there is how to write the house.
Yeah, but there may be privacy issues on that. But would you support that? The privacy issue thing?
Yes.
Yes, that's the problem. Yeah. You want to speak to it? Or?
May I?
Yes, by all means.
Thank you, Councillor Rink, through you, Mayor. A great question. We can certainly look at the format. I do believe the report is auto-generated, so any edits to it may take some significant effort. There are some concerns about privacy, and in that one instance with the easement, the easement agreement and the intent to acquire the lands and the purpose of the easement, which is for the force main, was previously brought before council. But we can look at our format and report back.
Okay, sounds good. We'll try to clean it up and follow the guidelines and restraints. Okay, 5.4, Middlesex County meeting highlights. 5.5, Middlesex County notice of passing of woodlands and conservation bylaw. 5.6, Middlesex County Council and Library Board meetings. 5.7, Middlesex County Warden's Report. 5.8, Middlesex London Health and Community amended meeting schedule. And 5.9, correspondence from Lisa Thompson, Minister of Rural Affairs, dated January 19th, enabling opportunity, Ontario Rural Economic Development Strategy. Council, the recommendation before you is that Council for the Municipality of Southwest Middlesex received items 5.1 to 5.9 as set out in the consent agenda, and may I have a mover and a seconder for their adoption. Okay, Councilor Myers, Councilor Vink, all in favor? Carried. Council Committee of Adjustment are none today. We do have in item 7.7.1 quarter revision, and I will appoint the mayor, the deputy mayor, Councilor Vink, and Mark, do you feel up to that? You okay?
Yep, okay.
Councilor McGill on that. And you guys don't have to leave, just settle back and relax. And the council adjourn the regular meetings to the quarter revision at 1:38. Is there a mover and a seconder? And all can vote on this. Councilor Deputy Mayor and Councilor McCall. All in favor? Carried. Okay. We'll call the quarter revision to order. Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest on the members selected? Okay. Delegation and presentations, the court of revision on the Stinson drain. We'll be speaking to that, Andrew. Or George? Okay, George, you're behind Moral there, I can see you. Or if you want, just grab a council chair. What you got a mic there? Good, you're all set. Yeah.
Thank you.
Wire up that mic and then we're all set.
Thank you, Your Worship. Through you to the Court of Revision, we have not received any formal appeals on this project, so I'm not anticipating any appeals. We did review the cost of the landlords at a preliminary meeting. There was no concerns raised at that time, so unless there is an appeal that the court would like to receive from a walk-in, we would recommend that the report be accepted as is.
Okay, thank you very much. I remind council that it is provisionally adopted first and second reading of this on the engineer's report, and the discussions are merely centered on the assessment, not on the engineering. Any questions? All right. All in favor of the recommendation, please raise your hand. Mark's got it. Thank you. Carried unanimously. Thank you, George, very much. Do I have a motion to adjourn the court of revision at 1:40? Martin, seconder. Councilor McCall. All in favor? Carried. Council, we are about midway through the numerical aspects of this agenda. Number 8, the staff reports. We'll begin with our Chief Administrative Officer advising of the subject of the food wagons, vehicles, and I'll hand the conversation over to our CAO, Amanda, if you could walk us through this.
Thank you, Mayor. Through you. This report is provided in follow-up to a report at our previous meeting on January 15th related to a request for locating a food truck on municipal property. At January 15th, Council approved the location as the train station parking lot and directed staff to prepare an agreement with the food truck owner as well as pursue the use of refreshment vehicle bylaw. So prepared before you are both an agreement with Stan Chuntis, owner of Rocky's Food Wagon, to be located at the Glencoe train station throughout the 2025 season, as well as a proposed refreshment vehicle bylaw, which would regulate food trucks at that location and throughout the municipality as well. So I'm happy to answer any questions about the proposals.
Yes, Council, we've discussed this in the past, but we certainly welcome any questions. Yes, Martin, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. What about existing food trucks, Amanda? Do these rules apply to them?
Yes, go ahead, Amanda.
Thank you, Councillor, through you, Mayor. The rules will apply to existing food trucks. However, we will waive, in the first staff report, it was recommended that the licensing fee for the first year be waived for the new, for existing food trucks. So we would reach out to them to confirm their compliance, to make them aware of the requirements, and then collect the appropriate paperwork, which they, I'm sure, already have in place, those health approvals and those kinds of things. And we would waive the fee for this year for them to participate in the program.
Yes, go ahead, follow up.
Yes. What about the side diagram? What's all involved with that? Because I think I read some, it has to be shown on the diagram, and it has to be accurate or whatever. Does that mean you need an engineer to?
It is not our intention to require engineer drawings for the food truck locations. A site sketch to scale would be perfectly adequate, and it's something for the train station location, for example. We will arrange for our contracted food truck provider to meet with our manager of community services and facility and draw up a location. So we're happy to work with existing food truck owners. We don't want to make the process overly onerous. We just want to ensure they're meeting the intent of the bylaw, and those health and safety regulations are being followed.
Yeah, Mayor Mayhew, can I ask a question?
Yes, certainly can, Mark, go ahead.
Yeah, what about food trucks at like 1 day long events? Like there's food trucks at Glencoe Fair. I think at Canada Day we had food trucks. How will those be treated?
Great question, Councillor, through you, Mayor. There is a provision in the bylaw that speaks to that specifically, and I might be able to find it here, but I can say, it does say that the bylaw only applies to food trucks either on municipal property or on public property that is not part of an organized community event. So in the instance where there's food trucks at, say, the Glencoe Fair or Tartan Days or another event, they would not be subject to the food truck bylaw. The organizer of the event would be responsible to ensure that the food trucks operating at that event meet all the general requirements and they have health sign off and so forth, but they would not require a food truck license for that specific day for that event.
Yeah. If I could add that this bylaw enhances food truck operations. The bylaw is not meant to discourage, but when you go through it, it gives them more opportunity for locations. It's not, any conditions are, should be met very easily. And the applicant that was mentioned here wanted everything in place in terms of the bylaw. We wanted to go by the book, and he's very pleased that this opportunity will enhance his business. So we look forward to other inquiries in the future as well. Any other questions? The recommendation is before you, Council. It's lengthy. I won't read it again, but if there's a mover and a seconder for this adoption of this, I'll entertain it. Mark has put up his hand. Councillor Haggett. Okay, so that's Councillor McGill moved it. Councillor Haggett seconded the question. As a courtesy, I'll ask for any more questions. Seeing none, all in favor? All opposed? Carried. Eight two one, invitation for land lease. This comes before us. Did you want to take this as well? Amanda?
Thank you, through you, Mayor. Council sees before them a report related to awarding the land lease tender, which was issued earlier this year. The tender is being recommended to be awarded to Tyler McTavish at $303 an acre. The leasable areas, as presented in a former report to council, include the lands adjacent to the Trillium landfill, as well as the industrial park parcels. I will note that at the industrial park, the lots that are owned by other entities besides the municipality were not included in the lease. And the lease agreement will be worded in such a way that if any of those lands were to be developed, or if the municipality required them for whatever reason, there's a notice provision we would provide to the tenant in order for them to vacate the lands. So even though the term of the lease is would be for a 3-year term, we would still have the flexibility to use the lands as if they aren't required for municipal purposes during that time. Awarding the tender would represent an increase in revenue of approximately $3,000 from the former lease agreement.
Okay, council, any questions? Seeing none, yes, Deputy Mayor, go ahead.
Any of the lands in there that we don't own, are they marked off to determine where they are? Just so that he knows where he's.
I'm not sure if on site they are marked up. It is our intent, although it wasn't included in this, in the lease tender itself, to work with the owners of the other properties to see if they would be interested in participating in our lease, in which case they would make a little bit of revenue as well. But if they are not, we will ensure the appropriate markers are in place.
Thank you.
I'm looking around. Mark, McGill, no questions, Councilor McGill? Okay. I'll bring it to the table. Is there a mover and a seconder? Councilor Green, Councilor McCollum. All in favor? Carried. Thank you, Amanda. And if you would like to inform the council of the Ward 3 vacancy that will be upcoming.
Thank you, through the Mayor. Before council is a report that outlines or informs of a recent written resignation that this county has received from Ward 3 Councillor Amy Choi. This was received earlier this week, and as such, this report was amended and added to the agenda in order to move forward with next steps under the Municipal Act. Municipal Act does have a process related to filling councillor vacancies, and the first step of that process is for council to pass a resolution declaring the seat vacant. And this resolution would trigger the next steps. We are recommending today that the resolution be approved by council to declare Ward 3 councillor seat vacant, is currently owned or held by Amy Choi, and that our manager of legislative services will bring back a report on options for filling that vacancy at the February 19th meeting for more information. So it's just step 1 with more information to come at the 19th.
Okay, council, any questions? Then as the process dictates, council must declare the Ward 3 vacancy. And in addition, that the legislative services will be bringing a report back to council. Is there a mover and a seconder to that? Okay. Councilor Myers, Councilor McCollum. All in favor? Carried. Just before we go on, I want to thank Councilor Choi for the work that she has done around this horseshoe. She, along with other councilors among us, have left legacies in our governance, and she will be missed. And in addition, Councilor Choi's ambitions went beyond the table, and she was very active in the community as well, and we appreciate that. And we wish her well in her journey ahead. Finance, the word budget, the B word. Okay, gotta look after that. Okay, Mac, timeline.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you. This report addresses the scheduling for the 2025 budget plan meetings. To ensure adequate time for the review and discussion, the scheduling of these meetings in both early and late March is essential. A request was sent out to council and staff by email to confirm availability for the proposed dates. I kindly ask that everyone please respond at your earliest opportunity in order to finalize these dates and proceed with the necessary preparations. Timely participation is crucial to ensuring a well-planned and effective budget process for the municipality.
Okay, thank you very much. We certainly want to get down to this, and I'm really hoping that those meetings, that in chairing them, that it will allow conversation and discussion, even if we have to go in committee to discuss them. But we want certainly an open discussion. We want it to put forth the opportunity for all councilors to participate in that, and I'm sure the administration will appreciate that. The recommendation is before you. If you have not addressed the invitation dates that have been sent out, please do so at your earliest convenience. Is there a mover and a seconder for this? Okay. Councillor Agat, seconder. Councillor Myers, all in favor? Yes, by all means, yeah.
Thank you. I just wondered, due to it, if the surveys all filled out, do you have all the responses that you need now?
Thank you, through you. I believe I do, but just received them all late this afternoon. So I will be following up to confirm the preferred dates with everyone as early as this afternoon or tomorrow.
Thank you. Sounds good. Yeah. And I appreciate the council have tended up some of the more urgent things already, so we're pleased with that. And very often it saves the municipality money if we deal with this budget in a timely manner. All in favor? Carried unanimously. And Amanda, if you could advise us of 832 utilizing grant match.
Actually, a finance report from that.
Okay, Matt, go ahead.
Thank you again, Mr. Mayor. Through you. This report highlights the importance of utilizing grant match for grant searches and related services. The grant match program provides valuable free grant search capabilities, allowing access to broader volume of grants efficiently and at no cost. Additionally, for significantly more complex or time-consuming grant applications, grant match does offer paid services that could both save time and internal resources. In cases where the effort required outweighs the cost, these services could prove to be a worthwhile investment for the municipality. Given where we are with the budget process, any immediate assistance that grant match could provide, it still could fit into the 2025 budget process if need be. But again, it's a stretch for that, but the option's there.
Thank you. Council, any questions? Perhaps I can lead it off. Mac, do other municipalities use this? Is it a municipal tool
Absolutely.
in other areas? They have it.
Absolutely, sir. Thank you.
Another question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. Glad to see that it's free for notifications for available grants, but what other services, and do you have a ballpark on what the cost might be if we need other services?
Thank you for the question.
I'm not really sure what the other, sorry to interrupt, I'm not sure what the other services might be.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor, through you, Council. The other services would be to conduct the applications on our behalf. In the event that we have a very large application, something that is going to be a little more onerous to know all the details, grant match may be able to provide us a better solution instead of us doing it ourselves. They would have more knowledge of the industry, that sort of thing. Where that comes to be a cost to us is that depending on the grant, they can give different prices, right? As an example, though, generally it's like a 10% charge as to what you would receive. So if you were to receive $1 million contract, yes, $100,000. Sorry, yeah, 100,000. But that might not be for all cases. It may be you get $1 million and they have a threshold. It really depends on the grant and what they come up with. But the point here is that we never want to use this just because we want to use the paid service. It would be because of the fact that we don't have the time to do it, or we don't have the knowledge and efficiencies to do it. In which case, we would definitely come to council and explain the situation and state, this is what they're offering to do for us, and this is the cost to us.
Or so we would be notified of any, if we did have any additional charges, we would be notified council. Okay, perfect.
And just further to that, I think that the opportunity to have a third party flag the opportunity of a grant is really important. And I do remind council that the agricultural community use services like this all the time. And in fact, in Southwest Middlesex, we have a corporation that provides that service of finding grants and helping farmers with applications. And it's a service that has similarity to the grant match. Okay, that being said, yes, more questions. Go ahead, Councilor Bink.
Thank you, Mayor. So we would be notified, but I wonder, do we get to vote on it too? That would be my concern.
I think I'll let between Mac and Amanda answer that. If they come to council, it would come in the form of a recommendation, I would believe, and the council will have a choice in that matter. Mac, could you elaborate on that?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you, yes, you hit the nail on the head on that one. We definitely would come to council as a recommendation, and the vote would have to occur as well.
Okay, sounds good. Going forward, council, what's your wish? To be advised of the service and acceptance of it? Is there a mover and a seconder? Okay, Councilor Myers, a seconder. Councilor Haggett. Any further questions? Mark, I'm looking up at the screen there. I don't see your hand. All in favor? Carried unanimously. Thank you, council. Laurel, thanks for your presence on Public Works here. We appreciate you being here. A4. A4-1, the supply of granular material. Can you walk council through your findings on this?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through the Mayor and Council, before you is a report outlining the tender results for the 2025 supply of granular material. We received 2 bids. The tendering process complied with our municipal procurement policy for goods and services. The recommended tender is within budget. Staff recommend awarding the tender to Johnson Brothers Auto Limited, and I'm here to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, don't see any. Oh, yeah. Okay, a couple. Councilor Haggard, go ahead.
Yeah, my question, I knew at the last meeting, we were talking about gravel, and I think that I suggested maybe we should put more gravel on. And then after some investigating and talking to people, past councils, I was told they cut back on the gravel. I don't know if you know, because you weren't here, but you used to have so much gravel and you cut it to less gravel on our roads, and maybe that's part of the problem. Maybe we need to put a little more gravel on these roads. Can anybody on council help me with that?
It is we're dealing with the tendering process here, but I'm sure Morrow would be pleased to get involved in the discussion.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, so it's my understanding, just in consulting with staff, there was an original amount that we had around 40,000 tons that we used to apply to our roads, and eventually it did get cut back to about 34. But that's just from what, in speaking with some of the staff here, that how the operations were effective in the past. But I wasn't here at that time, so I can't confirm that. That's what what I was told and what my understanding. So currently, what our application rate at Tappan's Valley is 34,000 tons. I do agree with Councillor Hagan, if we could increase that amount, I think it would better our roads.
Council, that helped address the question. Deputy Mayor Schultes, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor Maker. I ask this every year, tomorrow probably won't expect it. You know what our timeline is on this?
Yes, so,
What we was expecting.
yeah, so typically we start after load restriction. So we will be May 1st. Typically, it should be about a month for the ground one.
Starting May 1st.
Starting May 1st, weather permitting.
Thank you.
Yes, go ahead, Councillor Fink.
Thank you, Mayor. I think Don probably would know better than me, but we've always done it every other year. I think, one township and then the other for the roads. I think there was a study one time, the amount of use on the roads, and that might have been where it was cut back a little bit. There's some roads are hardly driven. And so there could have been a study on that.
Possibly. Council, any further questions? Yes, Councillor Hagan.
Well, I just think it's important for our farmers and our rural people with these roads that they're a little choppy, and I think we need to have a look at putting some more gravel on these roads.
Council has the opportunity to increase the tons of gravel on this, if you wish. Is there any numbers that you'd like to give to the chair, or leave it to the discretion of the?
Both counties,
Yeah, Don, go ahead.
Yeah, to Morrill there. I believe that we used to put more gravel on Old Drive and Park House, but both of them are tarred and chipped now. So they're
Yeah, that's right.
up to quite a bit
Yeah,
of it.
it's a good
And
point.
we used to go too wide and one down the middle on those roads. So that took up a big chunk of the gravel.
Yeah,
Go ahead. Well,
It's very common, and depending on the width of the road and how much gravel you put on. So a narrow road wouldn't get as much as a wider road, and that's still true to today. And I agree with that statement. So yeah, some roads probably get a little bit more because of the width.
yes, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. Sorry, I jumped in front there. Through you, Mayor, just wanted to highlight that council will have the opportunity to speak about the budget allocation to gravel during the budget process. So today's report is to award the tender at that per ton price. And then I just want you to know you will have the opportunity to revisit that during the budget process and the total amount allocated. We have budgeted, as Maura said, for the continued application rate of 34,000 tons. Thank you. And then any increase could certainly be contemplated through that as well.
Okay, yeah, one more question, Councilor Hackett.
well, maybe then, if you want to come up with something with more gravel first.
Okay, we'll have the opportunity to discuss that during those budget meetings that have been scheduled. Okay, and Morrill, yes, please go ahead.
And depending on what the price of the gravel comes in, one thing that we will do is we try to utilize the amounts of gravel based on the budget. So if budget comes in low for the gravel, then we can increase our tonnage. Right, so based on what council approves, we'll use that $22.79 price per ton and try to maximize as much gravel as we can out of that. But we also use some of that gravel to stockpile too for emergencies.
Yeah.
So we have to account for that too.
Okay. Yes, Councilor Myers.
I'd like to move the recommendation.
Okay, second for that. Councilor Haggett. It's been well discussed. Questions have been asked. I'll call it. All in favor? Carried unanimously. And Morrill, walk us through dust control if you could, please.
Yes, so thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through the Mayor's Council, before you use a report outlining the tender results of the 2025 dust control. We received 4 bids. The tender process complied with the municipal procurement policy for goods and services. The recommended tender is within budget. Staff recommend awarding the tender to Denmark Brines Limited, and I'm here to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay, any questions? Yes, Deputy Mayor?
Same thing, when would their start date be and roughly how many weeks?
Good question through you, Mr. Mayor. So basically, how it works is because we only have the two graders focus on putting the gravel down. And then once the gravel is down, then they focus on regrading and then they work on the dust application. So I would suspect, and with dust application, it's contingent on good weather. As we get a rainy season, we don't like to put it on until, if it's too wet. So I would suspect if we're made with the gravel, June to do the dust, so probably by sometime at the end of June, everything should be done. So by the 1st of July is my goal, weather permitting.
Okay,
I've had other people asking me, so that's why I
It's,
put it on.
yeah, and it's a struggle with the two machines because we need two machines to do the gravel, so they're tied up in the gravel. And once the two machines are done with the gravel, then we can focus on the dust.
Okay, thank you, sir.
good. It's a battle of logistics. I can see that, but we'll endeavor to get it on as soon as possible and keep our roads in good shape. Last call for questions. All in favor of the recommendation, please raise your hand. Carried unanimously. Okay, and the discussion of dolomite gravel, walk us through this. You're going to make some inquiries, Morrell?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through the mayor to council.
Well, just a minute, I'm getting,
On the last motion, we didn't get a mover and second.
okay, all right,
For the,
okay, all right. Yeah, okay, moved by Deputy Mayor, seconded by Councillor Fink. And it was carried, okay? Thank you very much. And sorry to interrupt you there, Morrell. Go ahead on the dolomite information.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through the mayor to council, before is a report of the dolomite gravel. As you know, dolomite gravel contains a limestone, which may enhance the strength and durability. A neighboring municipality is using the materials noted, its benefits, but it also emphasizes the need for strong structural base to maximize the performance. The municipality currently uses gravel that meets MTO specifications at a cost at a rate of $22.79 a ton. Switching to the dolomite, which costs approximately $34.85, and that was last year's price, would increase the annual maintenance budget to approximately $410,000 a year. This is a substantial financial impact, which must be evaluated carefully. Public Works staff recommended a trial application of the dolomite gravel in collaboration with the neighboring municipality. This will help assess its performance under local conditions and determine if the benefits justify the added cost. The trial location will be selected in consultation with the neighboring municipality to ensure transportation costs are minimized. So we'll pick a location where they're utilizing that material to a road that's near ours so that it try to control the costs. Dolomite gravel's higher costs is due to the transportation and import expenses, particularly as it's shipped in. Annual price fluctuations have to be considered because of those type of costs. This trial will help determine whether the long-term benefits outweigh these financial and logistic challenges. And I'm here to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay, Council, the opportunity presents itself. Are there any questions? This is really just an information process, gathering of information. Yes, go ahead.
This is, thank you, Mayor Allen. This is something that Don mentioned the last time we talked about it. So the cars actually get a little dirtier when you use dolomite.
That's a great question. I don't know the answer to that one.
Oh,
I know the neighboring municipality uses it. I've never really driven on it, but they do speak highly of it. But it is a very higher cost. And then the only difference that I do know is that it contains limestone, which is a harder stone and makes it more durable.
Yeah, Mayhew.
Yeah. Yes, go ahead, Councilor Miguel.
Yeah. When we get to the budget deliberations, I will support either putting more gravel on or a test run of this dolomite gravel. I know it may not work to use these locations, but I'd wondered about River Road past Airwood Farms to Adrenaline Paintball. That's a highly traveled area. And then Switzer Drive past Silver Dove Estates. And then in Ward 3, there's an area where we've had a delegation come requesting tar and chip. Martin would know the road name. If we can't get them tar and chip, maybe we could get them a better grade of gravel or more gravel. So I wondered about that area too. And also, when we do get some money from Hydro One to the municipality for the new transmission line, I think a good use for it would be to buy better gravel, because the new transmission line will just affect the rural areas. So I would like to see that money that we get from Hydro One for the transmission line spent on better gravel on our gravel roads in southwest Middlesex.
Okay, thank you for raising those concerns. Any further questions? Yes, Deputy Mayor Scholes?
Thank you, Thank you. Which is the neighboring municipality? Which neighboring municipality?
It's down Euphemia.
Well, it's not Euphemia, we have some road problems there. And just one comment on putting it on Trillium. I think the concerns that they have wanting Township is that they have vehicles that are getting up from the brine, and the dolomite sticks to vehicles under sites more than your regular gravel. So that brine would stick to the vehicles. I don't think they'd be in favor of putting this on that road.
Yes, Morrow first, followed by Councillor Lane.
And thank you, Mr. Mayor, just to respond to Councillor McGill, we really would like to select a location that's near the transportation of where they are, because if we start making roads that are far away from where they're hauling it to, it's really going to increase costs. So, but I will certainly keep those in mind, but if council just does go with the recommendation, then we'll start communications with the neighboring municipality and figure out which roads they're doing, and try to incorporate a road that is most cost effective.
Okay. Any further questions?
Just a further comment, Mayor. I disagree with Deputy Mayor that I don't think we should put it on Trillium on both estates because of the dirtiness of the dolomite.
I think we got to validate that. I've used it on my own driveway in the past for limestone, and I found it, I know that's not a very good test case because it's a driveway, but I found no dust and cleaner, no foot traffic, things of that nature. So, and don't forget that limestone have flats. They're not rounds. There's no rounds in limestone. They're all flats. And that really changes the road feel on it, the walking on it, the road feel on it. But we'll find those questions out.
But you don't put brine on your lane.
No, we don't. No, but there is some merit. Just one question, just in view of the recent subject of tariffs, is this Canadian sourced or is this U.S. sourced?
It's my understanding the material comes from the Manitoulin Island.
Okay, that's good. Then we won't be subjected to tariffs on that. Okay, thank you. Okay, had to ask. Just in case I get a call from Trump, I want to know. All in favor of the recommendation? All opposed? I just put your hands up, guys. I don't see it. We need a mover and a seconder for the recommendation. I'm sorry. Mover for the recommendation. I'm sorry. Councillor Haggett, Councillor Myers.
I'm just going to get a center on the recommendation. Are we voting to go ahead with this?
No, I don't believe so.
Yes, we are.
Are we? Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's to vote.
So,
Okay, I'll take that back then.
That's true. Let me read this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Council will proceed with this. We've got the understanding of the recommendation. And Chair will call again for a mover for this recommendation. Is there a mover?
I'll move the recommendation.
Is there a second for this? Okay, Okay, the chair will second it. Okay, I'll call the motion.
Well, I'd just like to have
Yeah,
a question, one question.
Yeah.
When you say trial application, like how big an area are we talking about?
I'll leave that to Lowell to answer.
Through you, Mayor. So we're looking at our roads are typically 2.4 kilometers or 1.4 kilometers in length. So we would be doing a full block length is what we're proposing. So that this way we can understand how it holds up. So, and we would be applying it at our current application rate that we do the normal gravel, which was recommended to me. So it would either be a 2.4 kilometer road or a 1.4. It all depends on the location that the neighboring municipality is hauling the material to.
Okay, Deputy Mayor Schultz.
This is gonna be an additional $410,000 a year. How far can we go with tar and chip per year?
That's a great question. Because with tar and chip, it's not just applying a surface to it, you also have to.
We need a strong base for both dolomite and tar and chip.
Well, yes, but we'd have to, yes, you're right, we'd have to pick a road that has a strong base for it, so the application rate that we're applying with the dolomite would be the same application rate that we use for the hand gravel that we use now. So that's why I just want to have a trial and see how it holds up. That's why I want to do this test run, because will the application rate that we're applying for hand gravel be sufficient for the road with dolomite? Those are all answers that I'm looking for with this trial run.
I'd just like to say that if we're gonna spend that $410,000 extra per year, I would far rather go to tar and chip.
Yeah, that's for,
So the 410,000 extra would be the 50% increase in cost for the dolomite. But there was also a reference
for all our roads.
for, yes, so we do half our roads per year.
Yeah.
So we do 175 kilometers a year. So each year would be an increase of 410. Now, but that's subject, that's at the current price of 34.85. That price could change in a year, transportation costs, so that could go up. That's at the 34.85 cost in 2024.
Yeah. Just to remind council that we're being cautious in this approach to dolomite. We are merely doing a test run of that 2 kilometers.
Mayor Mayhew,
Yeah, go ahead.
through the mayor tomorrow, how far could you tar and chip for the extra 400,000? Like the 400,000 would be what it would cost us more per year to do all the roads, in all the gravel roads in Southwest Middlesex, but you could only tar and chip a very small amount for 400,000 when you consider that you have to, improve the drainage, improve the base.
That's correct. In order just to do the surface application, when we tar and chipped last year, which was just a single coat, typically the math is $5 a square meter for a single coat, $10 a square meter for a double coat. Typically, if you're going to be doing a gravel road, you need a double coat of tar and chip. So depending on the length, I'd have to do the math, but that's just the surface, and then we have to figure out what the base is and strengthen the base, like we said, change any crossroad culverts, improve any ditching, drainage. Those are all additional costs, and those are all based on per road. So it's very difficult to put a price right now because every road is different. So we have to go out there and assess the road and make those determinations of what improvements are needed.
Okay. Council, any further questions? Councilor McGill, any further comments? Okay. All right, we're trying to, again, we're taking a cautious approach to this and trying to increase the level of service. But we'll call the question and council will decide. All in favor of the recommendation? 1, 2, 3. All opposed to the recommendation? 1, 2, 3, 4. Motion fails. Okay, going on, community service and facilities, there is none. Chief Johnson, it's good to see you. Fire protection, interesting grant. Go ahead and apprise council of this.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you to council. Before you, my report and recommendation for council to approve and endorse the fire protection grant for 2024. Fire protection grant is offered by the Ontario government in 2024 for the purchase of supplies and equipment to support cancer prevention efforts by municipal fire departments in Ontario. Southwest Middlesex Fire applied for the grant and was successful in obtaining $16,460. And those funds have been earmarked for turnout gear replacement and carbon blocking firefighting hoods to assist in firefighter cancer prevention. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Thank you, Chief Johnson. I'm sure that we share those concerns too. Council, any questions you'd like to put to the chief? Seeing none, Chair will entertain a mover and a seconder for the recommendation. Deputy Mayor Schuldice, Councilor Myers. Last call for questions. All in favor? Carried unanimously. Chief Johnson, thank you for submitting that. Building, none at this time. Planning, none at this time. Notice of motion. None at this time. I've not been advised of any. And correspondence and petitions. Amanda, this is, you want to address this?
Thank you through you, Mayor. The municipality has received the unfortunate correspondence from the Ministry of Infrastructure that our application to the Housing Enabling Water Systems Fund Intake 2 for the Industrial Road Sanitary Pump Station upgrades was not approved. We had applied for $1 million for 50% of the cost, and we were not successful. Just sharing that unfortunate news with council.
Any questions? Council, I would like to amend the motion, the recommendation rather, that the CAO and the mayor draft a letter of disappointment to the Honorable Pisano. And if I could include that in that recommendation, I would appreciate it.
I'll second that.
Okay. Any questions? Yes.
Wouldn't it be better to wait until after the election?
No, I think it would be better to do it now because it's going to provide some leverage. In view of I think the election is a positive spin, not a negative one. And I think it would be timely now, exceptionally timely now, to do it before the election to maximize leverage. Okay, any further questions? All in favor? Carried unanimously. Thank you, Amanda, for that. It's sad news, but perhaps the recommendation Mac made may help us in the future, so we'll see. Yeah. Unfinished business, number 11 on the agenda. There is none. New business. Any new business? None. Okay. Yes, go ahead. Yeah. Oh, yes, by all means. And yes, Amanda, if you could give council just a verbal update on the animal control.
Thank you, through you, Mayor Mayhew. We have completed the request for proposal process for the animal shelter services and animal control services. We did receive 2 bids for the services, and those are in review right now with our clerk and our partner procurement officer through the County of Middlesex. We anticipate that an update report will come to council on February 19th with more information.
Yeah.
Just follow up. Yes, please. We received those bids, I believe, last year in December. And I'm just wondering, is it the county is the issue? Well, why is there a delay?
Thank you, through you, Mayor. There has been some double checks that had to be done with both of the bidders on some of the documentation and its completeness as part of the process. So those checks have taken some time to seek clarification and get responses from the bidders. So more details on the process will come at February 19th.
So will that be ready to vote on February 19th, or like you're saying, there may be more details on the 19th?
There will be a more thorough update on the 19th. I am not privy to whether there will be a recommendation to award to one of the two bidders or not. There will be a recommendation on next steps.
Okay, that sounds good. Okay, any other inquiries? Okay, we'll move on. County Council and conference updates in the agenda. Council, any announcements? I'll give you a minute to think about that. Announcements. There has been a lot of work by the CCC organization of Southwest Middlesex to have a family day in the Eckford Community Center. And the date escapes me. Mike, do you know what it is? That's 17th or something like that. Yeah, family day. But that's a great day and a holiday in Canada that other countries do not emulate, but it's a great celebration. And the Eckford Community Center, there'll be coffee available if any of the councilors want to come out and have a peek at what's going on. It'll be great. And the mayor is going to be teaching children how to play the spoons, so you don't want to miss that. Okay, we'll move on from that then. A closed session pursuant to section 239 of the Municipal Act 2001. We are at a point in our meeting where we'll be going in closed session, but the regular meeting of council of the municipality of Southwest Middlesex be temporarily adjourned at 2:29 to permit the holding of a meeting in closed session. And exceptions pursuant to section 239 are listed there at council. This service proposal is given in confidence, that necessitates us going to closed session. Is there a mover and a second for that, please? Councilor Myers, thank you. Councilor McCollum, seconded that, thanks. Don, all in favor? Carried.